Welcome back. This is the second lesson recording for IM1, January 22nd, 2021. So now we are going to be solving the third problem. Okay, so we're looking for the value of y that makes this equation true. Now what's unique about this equation is that we have the variable y and y on both sides of the equal sign. We don't want that. That means we want to get rid of one of them or bring so that you are left with variable only in one side, because ultimately the goal is to get to y is equal to some number. We want the variable on just one side and some other number on the other side. So we need to get rid of one or the other. Okay, so when we were trying to get rid of 24 on this side, what did we do? If it was positive 24, we would subtract 24. Right? So what should we do? Let's say we want to get rid of negative 2y. What do you think we need to do? This is negative 2y, so we, instead of subtracting 2y, we want to add 2y to both sides. And notice that I am putting it under the y's with y's because they are the like term. I should not put it under the number because you can't add those two, whereas I can add y with 2y, and I would get 3y here. And negative 2y plus 2y, that now has gone away, and that's what we were hoping for. We were hoping to get the variable y on just one side. Okay, so we have 3y on this side, and so far we have 24 is equal to 3y plus 6. Now again, we do not want the 6 here. Okay, just the same way we didn't want the 2y on the left hand side, we don't want the number next to the variable. So we want to get rid of this plus 6, so we subtract 6 from both sides, and that goes away to 0, and you're left with 3y is equal to 24 minus 6. 24 minus 6 is 18 here. Okay, I'm going to bring my work over here. So far I have 18 is equal to 3y. So now what is happening to y? 3 is being multiplied to y, so to get rid of this 3 I need to undo it by dividing by 3, because multiplying and dividing, they undo each other. So that just becomes my giant one, and you're left with y is equal to 18 divided by 3 is 6, and that's my solution. Okay, let's go to the next problem. Now this has a little bit more things that we need to deal with. We have a number with a parenthesis. Do you remember what that means? What is the operation between 3 and the parenthesis? There is this multiplication here. Okay, now when you see a parenthesis, you should always try to simplify what's inside the parenthesis first. 8 minus 2x, can we do anything with what's inside? No, we cannot, because 8 and 2x, negative 2x, they're not like terms. They're like adding apples with oranges. You cannot do that. So therefore, we can't simplify it anymore. However, what we can do is we can apply the distributive property, if you remember, okay, by multiplying 3 times 8, which is going to be 24. And to that, you're going to multiply 3 times negative 2x. That's going to be negative 6x. So the right hand side simplifies to 24 minus 6x, and on the left hand side is 2x. Now this time we have variables on both sides and just number on the one side. Okay, so that means, remember, we want variable left in one side and number on the other side. So we only have variable on that side, so I want to keep this. I don't want to lose this. So I do want to get rid of negative 6x. Okay, so how do I get rid of negative 6x? What should I do to both sides? I can add 6x to both sides. When I do that, negative 6 and positive 6x, they become 0, and so it disappears. So you are left with 24 is equal to 2x plus 6x is 8x. So you have 8x is equal to 24. So what is happening to x? It's being multiplied by 8, so we need to divide both sides by 8 to get rid of this 8. So then we are left with x is equal to 24 divided by 8 is going to be 3. And as usual, I should be going back to the original equation, substituting the 3 back to see if this is indeed the solution, but I am not going to do that right now. Okay, so this brings us to the next topic that we're going to be talking about today, and that's the slope-intercept form versus standard form. What do you remember about slope-intercept form? That's a way of writing a linear equation. Okay, so when you have a line, a straight line, and on a graph, and you want to write the equation of that, we used to write it as y is equal to mx plus b. That was the slope-intercept form. Now I'm going to introduce to you another form to write a straight line. That's a standard form. Okay, so let's talk about that. So slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b, where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. So m and b are both constants. Okay, there's just some number, but that m slope is being multiplied by the variable x, and y is another variable. And an example of that will be something like y is equal to 3x minus 5. So for this, you're saying that slope is 3, the y-intercept is negative 5. So again, 3 and negative 5 are just some numbers. 3 is the number in front of x or being multiplied to x, and negative 5 is just being added or subtracted, so that's why that is the y-intercept. In contrast, what is the standard form? It's always going to be in this ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are constants too. That means they're just some numbers. Okay, so they're just some numbers with the variable x and y put in this way. Okay, so for example, when you see 6x minus 2y is equal to 10, then you know that this is an equation of a straight line. And so a straight line could be represented this way, or straight line could be represented this way. So what do we notice about slope-intercept form and standard form? With the slope-intercept form, notice that y is on left-hand side, one side of the equal sign, and the x and the constant, some x and the constant are on the other side or the right-hand side of the equal sign. So y is on the left, 3x minus 5 or mx plus b, some x term and a constant is on the right-hand side. As opposed to standard form, what you're going to see is the x and the y term, x term, something that is being multiplied to x, as well as something that is being multiplied to variable y. They're both on the one side of the equal sign, and on the other side is you just have a variable or constant. And something else with the standard form is you're never going to see this as a fraction. It would always be a whole number, not a fraction. Okay, so now I want you to tell me in private chat which of the following are in slope-intercept form. So that's y is equal to mx plus b form. What did we say about what qualifies as the y-intercept or slope-intercept form? We need to have y on one side, and we need to have the x term and the constant, just a number, on the other side. So which of these are in that form? Okay, please pause the video and think about it, and what do you think? Well, the correct answer is A, y is equal to 3x minus 4. The x term is on one side, and plus the constant or the number is on the other side, and y is on the left hand side. So this is definitely y equals mx plus b. What about this? X and y are on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, so this is actually the standard form. What about this? Y is equal to 2y plus 10. Well, y is on the one side of the equal sign, so that's good. However, do we have an x term on the right hand side? No, we don't. Okay, so this is not in the standard form. What about this? Y is equal to x. Is this a slope-intercept form? And some of you might be saying, no, it's not, because we're missing the constant. Well, the tricky part about that is we can rewrite this as y is equal to x plus 0. Okay, in this case the constant is 0, so actually this is considered to be y-intercept form. Okay, let's move on. What about this question? Which of the following are in standard form? Okay, so standard form is always going to be ax plus by is equal to c. So the x term and the y term, they're both on the one side of the equal sign, and with the constant term, just the number on the other side. Which one of these are in standard form? Pause the video and think about it and come up with an answer. And the correct answer is A and B. What's wrong with C? Well, we have x and y on the left hand side, so that's pretty close. However, we have the y term on the other side. Okay, we need to have a constant. We can't have the variable y there. So C is not it. What about this? Well, x is on one side and y is on the other side, so they're separated. So this would not be a standard form. So the correct answer is both A and B are in standard form. Alright, so standard form or slope-intercept form, we can rewrite an equation into either form using the same strategies for solving equation, and that is the reason we went over that first. So if you're given 6x is equal to 10 plus 2y, is this in standard form or slope-intercept form? It's actually neither, because for it to be in slope-intercept form, you need y is equal to something. You don't have that. Okay, and for it to be in standard form, you need both x term and the y term to be on the same side. So it's in neither, so but we want to turn that into standard form. Let's turn that into standard form first. Okay, so what we need is the x and the y term has to be on the same side of the equation. Okay, so we have the x term here on the left. On the right side, we have the y term here as well as the constant. So what do we really want to bring over to the other side? We really want the 2y to be brought onto the other side, right? So we want to bring this to the other side, or we want this to disappear. How would I get rid of this 2y? We would subtract. So we are starting with 6x is equal to 10 plus 2y. And to get rid of this 2y, we would, since 2y is being added on the right hand side, we would subtract 2y from both sides. So when I subtract 2y from both sides, okay, this goes away to 0 and you're just left 10 on the right hand side. On the left hand side, I did write it underneath one another, but I shouldn't have done that because they're not actually like terms, are they? Okay, so I can just rewrite this as 6x minus 2y is equal to 10, and now we have the x term and the y term on the left hand side and just the constant on the other side, with some x being multiplied by some number and so on. So this will be correct. This is in standard form. Now try to convert that into the slope-intercept form. So we are starting with 6x is equal to 10 plus 2y. Okay, what is it that we do not want? We want to get to y is equal to something x plus some number. Okay, so we want the y to be separate by itself. So we want to get rid of everything that is around the y. So first we have plus 10 is being added, as well as 2 is being multiplied to y. So again, 2 is being multiplied to y first, then followed by 10. So to undo things, we're going to get rid of this 10 first by subtracting 10 from both sides. And we will continue this in the next lesson recording.